Sharp Game here, coming at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com. And today I'm going to talk about some red flags dating most single women. And today, the game is raggedy out here today. The game is still the same, but the rules have changed slightly. And you got women, a lot of women are acting like men, a lot of men are acting like women. And so there's a lot of games that's being played out here today. I have nephews and younger cousins that's in the 20s and that are teenagers. So I talk to them and I try to give them as much input as I can give. However, at the same time, some things just can't be taught. You have to experience and go through certain things on your own. No one can really tell you everything that you have to be aware of, because all of us have different experiences in life, and dating men and women is no different. Everyone has their own experience. But one thing I can say is I think I've met every type of woman that you can imagine, from the street corner to the ivory tower and everything in between. Now, I say this not to brag, but to tell you that I have a lot of experiences meeting a lot of different women from different cultures, that speak different languages, that live in America, that live all across North America and South America, and all around the world, from Japan to Australia, Singapore, Guam, China, Mexico, Colombia. I can go on and on. But the point I'm trying to get to is some things you're never going to know, and you're probably never going to understand unless you had the experience. And that's why I can talk about so many different things within in context, because I've seen it, I experienced it. And some of these red flags that I've experienced, I was young, in my early 20s. And a lot of these experiences came through meeting older women, like women that's 10 years older than me. Like, for example, I'm 21, or maybe I'm 25, and she might be 35 or 40. Not saying a lot of these red flags don't happen with women in the 20s, but the chances of it happening with them in the 20s was highly unlikely. Because if I'm 22 and I'm talking to a woman that's about my same age, but she don't have enough life experience yet. It's not so much you can experience at the age of 22. So with that being said, the first red flag when dating single women is a woman that's been single for a long time. It's like, I don't know any good women that's single. When I say I don't know any good woman that's single, I don't know any good women that don't have a guy. They might not be married, But I don't know any good women that don't have a guy that's not around them for long periods of time. Because good women refuse not to have a guy. That's the thing you have to understand. Now, there's some women that you might see or hear that they're always single. They can't seem to figure out why they're single. They can't seem to figure out why when they go out on the first date, the guy doesn't call them back. And that's a red flag. They're so much into themselves, they just can't figure it out. And a lot of them never thought, it never dawned on them that they could be the problem. But they never, they're so much into themselves. It's like it never dawned on them, they could be the problem without even thinking about it. So if you got these types of women, they're very opinionated. They probably been single for 5, 10 years or more. Never been married, no kids. They might be 35, 40, 45. Never had a serious relationship. And if they did have a serious relationship at one time, they haven't been in one for a long time, and they can't seem to have a guy stick with them, or at least spend a lot of time around them consistently. These women, there's something wrong. You should be aware of that. And a lot of times, if you stay around them long enough, you'll be able to figure out rather quickly why they're single, why no one wants to be around, why they don't have any friends. You'll be able to pick it up rather quickly. All you got to do is sit back and listen, because people can't help to tell you who they are, because when they open their mouth, it's going to come out. So a single woman being single for a long time is a red flag. Next, if you have a woman that got 2, 3, 4 kids for different guys, that might be a sign of being irresponsible, because a lot of times, a lot of women, if you make the mistake and have one child for the wrong guy, okay. Now, if you make a mistake and have another kid for another guy and you're single, or come on, you're being a little irresponsible. Maybe you're getting too emotional, but you just can't keep making mistakes like that, especially when kids are involved. And kids are very expensive, and that's major. Having kids changes your life, especially if you're a single parent. So whenever a woman have 2, 3 kids out of wedlock and she's never been married, that's a sign of being irresponsible. And a lot of women, they'll get upset if they find out a guy doesn't want to talk to a woman with kids. But if the shoe was on the other foot, a lot of these women would not talk to a guy with kids. If as a matter of fact, I know a woman that said to me a couple days ago that she don't want to talk to. She would never talk to a guy that's a single parent with kids. But at the same time, she got a kid. So what's that about? You know, some people are just selfish, are just all into themselves. And then again, you got some women that, you know, they think that it doesn't matter. They think the guy is just supposed to accept them along with the kids, and as long as she looks nice, banging body, personality, that he should go along, get along. But I think a guy should have standards. I'm not saying a guy shouldn't be with a woman with kids, but this is what I would say. If a guy is single, no kids, and a woman has 2-3 kids, she has to be able to make up for that in some type of way. I mean, she has to, maybe she's financially savvy, street savvy, or something. Or maybe she's very supportive. Maybe she's very resourceful as far as when it comes to getting to know people, or maybe she know people in hidden places. She has to be able to make up for that somewhere. She can't just have the attitude like a single girl. She can't come through the door like that. That's not even practical. You know, that's arrogant. If you just walk through the door and you got 2 and 3 kids, and I don't have any, it's just, yeah, she got to make up for that in some type of way. That's all I'm saying. So someone with 2 or 3 kids, she could be irresponsible. And you know, there's a lot of these girls out here that you might hear them say they have guy friends. And you know what? I just think that's a bunch of baloney. You know, now there's a very small percentage of guys that would be okay with having some women as friends. But the only reason that is because they're used to being around a lot of women, have a lot of experience with a lot of women, like me. It's like I know so many women. It's like I'm okay with being friends with some of them. That's fine, because I know I can't have them all. You know, but I know I'm not the average guy. I'm the exception to the rule, I guess you could say, right? But the average guy does not want to be friends with a woman. As a matter of fact, if she pulls her pants down and her panties down and bend over, most of her guy friends that she claims she has is going to lay pipe. And that's the truth. Now, a lot of these women might not think so. And a lot of these women might be full of shit. I don't know. But a lot of them might have some of these guys she might be smashing. Who knows? You know, a lot of them might have these guys, you know, saying that they play brothers and all this crap. I don't believe in that shit. It's a bunch of nonsense. But that's a red flag. I don't want my woman texting guy friends when I'm around, and you know, I'm just not into that. You know, and the phone's ringing off the hook and all that shit. That's a red flag. You know, the phone is ringing so much, you got to put it on silent. And then she's got a bunch of married guys around too. You gotta watch out for that. Married guys calling her, and so there's no what. Why would a woman keep in contact with a bunch of married guys? Unless it has something to do with some type of business, making some money. If not that, there's no other reason. So that's a red flag. And then you have some women will, maybe when you get to know her, y'all might be having a conversation, and she starts saying she used drugs one time, she had a one night stand one time, she used to party hard in college, maybe she talked in third person a lot, and she starts saying she did this one time, I did that one time. Whenever they start doing that, saying she did this one time and did that one time, that's usually a lie. Because most of the time, if someone does something, they'll just say, yeah, I used to do this, I used to do that. But they won't really say they did it one time. So if they say they did it one time, they're probably still doing it from time to time. So you got to be careful when it comes to that. And then another thing, you got to watch these women hanging around. What type of friends she got? If she got some friends that's hoes, they said birds of a feather flock together. So she probably won't be too far from it. And I've actually got some, at least 2 or 3 guys that I know personally. They got married to hoes, unfortunately. And they're still married to this day. I know 2 of them fuck around, but that's not my business. I keep that shit pushing. I keep that shit to myself. I don't say shit. But at least the other one, the third one, I don't think she fucks around. And the reason why I don't think she fucks around on him is because she's afraid of the consequences. I think she's afraid that she might get jumped on or might get beat up or whatever the case is. So you gotta watch the company that they keep with the women when it comes to the women. And a lot of women know that they know on a subconscious level that their friends is hoes. So a lot of times, this is based on my experience, they might try to keep you away from their friends. That's another red flag. If they try to keep you away from their friends, they're probably thinking that their friends is going to want to sleep with you. So because they know they got some hoish friends. So they're thinking, hey, I got to keep him away from them because she knows that they hoes or they got hoish ways. So that's a red flag. That's a big red flag. And then you got the woman that has the handyman or the do boy. He fixes stuff at the house. He fixes the car if it breaks. He buys her roses every once in a while. He does this all for free. Don't charge her anything. If you see this, he's hitting that pussy. Now, it doesn't happen all the time, but he hit it every once in a while. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe that he's just a good friend of the family, whatever, Now, the only man that would fix shit for free without pay, without any type a reward, it has to be somebody in the family. But it ain't gonna be nobody that she's not related to. Don't believe that shit. He's getting something out of the deal. And the last thing that I kind of mentioned earlier is, if she get boatloads of phone calls, I mean, if the phone is ringing off the hook so much so that she gotta put it on silence, that's a red flag. You know, she might be on some other shit if her phone is ringing off the hook. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those guys, more than likely, are gonna be married, because when married guys don't have a lot of time like single guys do. So when married guys can get out, they don't got that much time, so they like to call right away. They like to make plans very rapidly and fast. And they just want to fuck the majority of the time. Not all married guys like this, but the majority of guys want to fuck, because a lot of these guys are being neglected at home. So they're just looking for a good time, unfortunately. So if you see this from a woman, her phone ringing off the hook all the time, or the voice box is full, that's a red flag. And you know, I can go on, but this video is getting a little too long. And there's more red flags, but I would say these are probably the most common that I found when I was in my early 20s, all through my 20s, all through my 30s as well. So if you like what you heard and you want to really step your game up and take it to the next level, click the link below this video, and on the next page you're gonna put your name and your email address into the box, and you're gonna receive tips and tricks on how to step your game up within less than 30 days. So if you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel, check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, Sharp Game is out. Peace.